A fisherwoman here at this village mentioned that her sister had gone away mountain climbing or something, and she was supposed to be around to help fish or something like that. I'm guessing we get a point of approval as being guests of the hold here, so I thought I'd track her down, see what is to be seen. Looks like it's sending me off into an area where I haven't really explored anyway, so. Yep, we'll uncover some new regions too. What am I looking for? Oh, there's an ocularum. Oh, that's cool. I was really curious about the magic door here.
There's a lot of loose stone here, and an Avar axe.
They left it here to mark a trail, perhaps.
The woman at the beach said her cousin Runa went climbing. Maybe this is where she began.
Okay, so the ocularums apparently are a Tevinter thing, or something that the Tevinters grabbed hold of to unlock these shards, which of course unlock doors, which of course lead to runes and rune-making stuff. They seem to be obsessed with runes. That takes me back to the original dwarfs way back when, being apparently really closely tied with the early Tevinters, with the Imperium and stuff. Don't know exactly what all that link is about, but I find evidence of Tevinter stuff and vice versa intermixed a lot in the game, both, you know, artwork, statuary and stuff, ancient ties, of course, you know, and then you're talking about the thing with Red Lyrium, Criphius being an old Tevinter Magister and all that kind of stuff. It takes me back to Dragon Age 2, the end of Act 1, when you go down into that ancient tide. There are no paragons down there. We're talking early dwarves, before dwarven history was being recorded by the Shaperits, I guess. Shaperits being a relatively recent thing in terms of their history. And so the dwarves aren't immune to their history being essentially erased or changed or hidden or altered or something. Also the dwarven history with magic. You know, if you've listened to Sandal throughout the first couple games, there was hints and stuff in his little, I don't know, what would you say, visions or prophecies or whatever. You know, I don't know. I personally think there's a lot to that, but I don't claim to really know all the details. Well, how about we go find these, and the Fade creatures, we'll go find those to help out our buddy back at the camp. Or the Avar village, the one helping to restore his name from his father or something. Poor crippled kid, not his fault he can't complete some silly ritual thing. Well, I guess it's not silly to them. It has to do with them burying their dead and so on and so forth, but still, it's not his fault. In fact, if I understand correctly, he got wounded trying to help somebody, keep a fisherman from falling in and getting crushed, and he in turn suffered that fate in that person's place. I have to respect that. The more I think about it, it may just be a small little side thing here, but the principles are solid as far as that kid goes, and he's polite, you know, he's humble. So anyway, kind of made my decision on that. Did I walk right by it? I was thinking maybe there was a cave underneath or something. Oh, I see it. Sitting on that little... duh. Yeah, I guess I did walk right by it. Alright, so I think we only need a total of 4 more of these. Let's go see what the shard door is hiding. Hopefully it's got some good stuff. If it's like all the doors back in the Oasis, it might give us a little defense towards a particular element. I would be guessing it would be frost, considering the nature of this place and Jaws of Hakkon. I was going to talk about them too. Something that was mentioned in the last video when we were talking to Methane and stuff is that Hakkon, their god of war, whatever spirit or old god, maybe one of what the elves might worship under a different name. It's kind of what I was at least thinking I was seeing there. Anyway, who or whatever it may be, in and of itself isn't evil or whatever, but the Hakkonites being, well, like any other cult, taking a religious something or another and getting fanatical about it and going all left with it. And what the Thane said was really wise, is they come and go, and if you think about it, all the cults that have risen in the past, even the ones that have done a lot of harm, like, you know, the whole Jonestown thing where everybody drank the Kool-Aid, and people even use it as a rather tasteless joke nowadays, you know, don't drink the Kool-Aid. You know, that stems from one of the cults, and we've seen lots of examples of that throughout history, but they pass. They do their thing, mislead a bunch of people to, you know, to some kind of tragic end, and then they just kind of fade away, disappear. Like any other man-made, fanatical whatever. It's the religions that stand the test of time that I would think any rational person, you know, a lot of people would say a rational person wouldn't give religions any, you know, a second thought type of thing. And then others would say just the opposite. But I would like to just kind of stand in the middle and think that religions, at least the whole concept of spirituality or God or whatever, right? The ones that have been around the longest and have swayed people to, you know, not just go commit a fanatical act of something or another because they're either desperate for some kind of answers to their problems or some kind of release, or they're just batshit crazy, whatever the case may be. The ones that have existed within societies, and those societies have functioned to some extent or another over, you know, maybe hundreds, thousands of years or whatever, that there be something there that's worth looking into, something that, even if it's not something you might be able to put your finger on, some basic truth or idea or set of maybe moral codes or laws or something that one might consider as being more than just, you know, some kind of, you know, pipe dream type stuff. Is that maybe there's something of substance there. Just something to consider. You know, I think religion is one of those things, just like politics, where you're really strongly on one side of the fence or the other. Some choose not to be on either. They just really don't want to be bothered with it, and I guess I get that too. Especially considering the amount of trouble that those particular topics have caused throughout history, right? You know, the leading causes of war, you know, politics, religion, and I guess sex. You know, who's screwing who type thing. That's pretty much about it right there, in a nutshell. I can see why some people wouldn't want to be bothered with that type of stuff, but for the person, for the individual, seeking some kind of something, whether it be peace of mind or some kind of spiritual answer or release or something, that there be something to spirituality, I'll just leave it at that, that's worth you know, considering. I don't think it would stand the test of time. Like, we've seen cults come and go, and there are religions that a lot of people wouldn't consider much more than cults, and considering how a lot of religious people behave, both violently and superstitiously and ritualistic stuff and all, you know, all the things that I personally don't have time for any of that stuff. I don't see what kind of quote-unquote God would really be interested in those types of things. I would think that, you know, I don't know. Like I say, when you get into all that stuff, it kind of begs to question, what's the whole point of all that? In other words, if I'm down here burning incense and doing this and that and singing carols and what have you, as far as to the greater good, what purpose does that really serve there? Other than that I can look religious and have an opportunity to put myself on a pedestal and judge the next guy for not being religious. That seems to what it usually amounts to. I don't think any self-respecting God would really have much time for any of that, or the need to prove your point by harming others, you know, because they're not what you are or something, you know, and all these other things that people cry about. And, you know, when it gets down to it, I would think that a spirituality, I think the Avar here have a thing, they have something of a relationship with their gods, what they would refer to as gods, and it seems more like they're friends in the spirit realm, or beings that they at least admire to some extent, and who seem to admire them in return. Like they understand each other. We kind of understand what makes you tick, what interests you, and you understand what interests us, and we can get along like that. And they seem to. They're best left alone. And civilization, one of the worst things civilization can do oftentimes is to intermeddle, to get into other people's affairs, you know, where it's not wanted. It's one thing to desire technology and comfort and all the things that come with being civilized, group security to an extent, except in Orlais, where, you know, the more people you pack together, the more people trying to kill each other. But for the most part, some people would desire that. Other people desire to be more rustic. You know, out there, you know, left alone. And that should be their right also. From what I understand, basically with the Avar is anytime they appear to be hostile, it's basically to keep people at a distance. Their best defense is to be feared. You know, if there's a bunch of superstitions surrounding the Avar as, you know, bloodthirsty, demon-worshipping barbarians and this and that and blah, 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 they'll let you think that if it keeps you away, so to speak. And they might even do a raid here and there to maybe get your stuff or to, you know, to spy a little bit, to check you out, make sure you're not getting too close to their borders. You know, keep an eye on you know, outsiders, because I guess in their experience, for the most part, outsiders are just as hostile as they are made out to be, right? You know? Look at it from the other side of the fence, and they seem to be just here pretty peaceful, minding their own business, following their traditions, living their lives. Just because they don't do it in fancy houses with big, you know, gold inlaid buildings and stuff like that, doesn't mean that they don't have their own civilized, ethical, moral codes and stuff like that. I would almost respect a lot of their ideals more so than I would those that you find in Ferelden Orlais. They were talking about their version of, you wouldn't call it a circle, but how they deal with their mages here. They're having a whole lot more success than the Fereldans are, or the Orlesians. Mages running around, blood mages being all batshit crazy, killing everything in sight. They don't seem to be having that problem here. So call them barbarian demon worshippers if you want to. They seem to have a pretty tight grip on their affairs here. But what would civilized people, quote unquote, heavy quotes, civilized people want to do? They would want to come in here and meddle and enforce their laws and impose their will on these people here, and these people aren't going to have it. And that's their right. And it's only the civilized people that look down their noses at the Avar, you know, because they won't stop long enough to look at themselves and realize that they're more barbaric than the Avar ever thought of being. Go to the Orlesian court. I don't care how many fancy silks you dress in and, you know, how well you cover up the fact that you only got 3 toes on your feet because you've been inbreeding for the last 15 generations of your family and all that stuff, right? Leliana pointed all that out at the Orlesian Ball. I don't care how well you dress it up, you know, if you're just a rotten den of vipers, a barbaric pit of snakes, then you are everything that you claim that the Avar are, or any other barbarians, or any other quote-unquote uncivilized society, right? Who often prove themselves to be twice as wise and civilized as you are because they understand the nature of things, you know? They don't need to complicate it and hide their ignorance behind a bunch of fancy dress. And I respect that. I like that. I kind of dig the Avar now. I really do. Once again, Chantry painting them as some kind of heathens, probably because some truth that the Chantry's trying to hide, the Avar, to some extent, represent. That would be my guess. And so, of course, they wouldn't be approved of by the Chantry, which would have, I guess, essentially... Oh, wow. What was I, poisoned? Oh, geez, I'm a little squishy. I know, my character's a bit squishy. It's still fun to play. I actually plan on doing something about that, by the way. I'll change subjects real quick. We're going to work our way, I mentioned this before, work our way down to a different skill on a different side of the skill tree. I'm going to get done here doing some of these quests here, and we still got to take that boat over to the island and follow up our leads to where the last Inquisitor, his resting place might be, or whatever it is we're looking for. But I want to go back to Skyhold and grab a respec amulet. My build's going to be the same. I'm just going to incorporate a different skill. I'm going to go down a different side of a tree. I'll show you what I do when I do it. It's nothing real big, ooh and oh, like, oh wow, that's character build genius or anything. But it is something I would like to where the hell are you going? Oh, start getting your ass kicked and yeah, wiggle your nasty little funky belly off over there. So I'll be after you in a second. First, let me deal with the 600 spiders that you left behind. Oh my god, they hit hard. Did you see that spider take my entire bar of guard with one hit? And see, that's essentially it. With the trials active, a bar of guard counts for one hit from just about anything. It seems like there's so many enemies that are promoted or elite or whatever that it's been my experience. For the most part, my character can only take pretty much a hit, and that's about it. Yeah, Cassandra's getting beat up on, even. That's unusual. Yeah, these spiders are hitting really, really, really hard. I wouldn't doubt that there's some, I don't know, level 26 stuff. Been running into that a lot. Poisoned again. All right, well, I'm just gonna take a nap. Y'all finish this fight off. I'll catch you guys when you're done. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, we'll be respecting. I'd like to finish some of these side quest things here. We'll get whatever the Stone Bear Hold wants done. That's a tanky ass spider, man. Look at that. Still going. Hitting for nothing but thousands. Crazy. Oh, 324 points? That's half XP for that. Really? Okay. And they all had to be elites? Like every one of them? Yeah, every one of them was... Yeah, they're all giving me boss numbers. Those are boss numbers. Alright. Well, that's cool. I mean, I'll take it. We win. So what if I got a black eye and a broken hip bone and a missing a foot? So what? Anyway, I am kind of excited about that. It's going to be interesting to be able to pull off something of a combo. It's something I've been missing with this build. Well, not missing, but it's, you know, I'm used to playing an assassin, and there's a combo. There's a certain set of abilities. Oh, there she is. Yeah, I got something to say to you. All those friends you left behind? Yeah. Well, they didn't do their job. Let's put it that way. And I'm about to die again, aren't I? Yep, I was poisoned. Well, poison's a bitch. But yeah, with my assassin, you know, it's a certain pattern. You could do a quick 1 or 2 moves in a row, you know, as long as you were stealthed, and you get your critical bonus. And so, you know, you learn to put string certain skills together in a row where each one would maximize and buff you for the next ability.
Kind though that may be, it bends the laws of their tradition. It's something to consider.
Well, I still think it's the right thing to do, so I am going to help the kid. Regardless. Even if I don't get any reward for it, so to speak, or whatever. Sometimes doing the right thing is just right. You know, simple as that. Yeah, but anyway, but with the Reaver, outside of just trying to remember to keep Ring of Pain going, and keep, you know, the stamina up, which is easy, considering the way I build my Reaver, it's mostly basic attacks. I don't rely so much on Dragon Rage, except just to give away health. That's pretty much it. But now, if I could get the Livid skill in there, it would be, you know, basically, instead of, say, you know, maybe trying to remember to throw a challenge, which I never did anyway, so challenge was just a wasted skill just sitting on my on one of my hotkeys. Now, I can, you know, hit Livid, hit Ring of Pain real active, probably vice versa. Probably Ring of Pain, then Livid, since Livid is timed and Ring of Pain is just relying on stamina. And get in there into the fray, and I looked at it. There was an upgrade to Livid where if you get a kill, it resets itself. So essentially you could go on a continuous rampage, basically. Then if you incorporate Rampage itself, anyway, having all my combo buttons, I'll just call them that, combo buttons on my second set of skills, and then have all my basic fighting buttons on my first set, like I have here. Grappling Chain, Block and Slash, Mighty Blow. Those are just things I commonly used. Oh, look at that. Very cool. That looks like frost resistance to me. Sure does. Oh, yeah. Yeah. 3, 6, 9? 9% frost resistance? Okay. Well. Oh, there it is. Oh, 15. 9 and 6. Yeah, that's 15%. Sweet. And I think I already have 20 from the Oasis, so that gives me... Damn, I got about a third immunity to frost damage. That's actually really going to come in handy. Very cool. Totally digging that. Yeah, so let's get something of a combo here. I was using a combo basically in Dragon Age 2. It was the same type of thing. It was you hit the you know, you've already got Berserk active, and so you would hit the speed boost. And then I even incorporated, and this was thanks to one of you guys, one of the viewers even said, well, why don't you use this And what I thought it was, what I thought the skill was, and what it wound up being were kind of two different things. So I'd always kind of overlooked it in the past, and I would tend to do fine. I mean, I thought my Berserker Reaver was pretty stout in Dragon Age 2, considering for a no pause style of gameplay, you could just go in and just wreck shop for the most part. There were a few areas, given where they were placed in the game, like Night Lies, the guards, in Act 1. That was always, it didn't matter. Try to do it early, try to do it late. I always struggle with that, regardless. Stupid archers. And Lieutenant's buffing everybody. Oh, here's let me give this guy his stuff. Let me go ahead and help him out.
Here, an offering for your father. From you.
Inquisitor, I can't.
Consider my gift to the Hold a gift to you. Though perhaps don't spread that around.
But the Huntmaster...
Said he'd accept an offering from the hand that gave it.
I don't know what to say.
Just take care of yourself.
Thank you.
I'll let you rest.
Lady keep you.
Yeah, live your life with the respect that you deserve. You got injured helping somebody in the Hold. I mean, that can't be a bad thing. Should not be punished for that. Sometimes missing the spirit of the law for the letter of the law, upholding a law and violating the very spirit that law was meant to protect, the very moral or principle or ethic or whatever that law was enforcing. Sometimes those are violated by enforcing the law itself.
I'm told our Huntmaster prepares an offering from Finn Coldenson. Nothing more's been said. I will only thank you for paying hospitality to an invalid. I must complete the preparations. A strange turn of events may not make Colden's journey any easier. The gods measure both outcome and the actions, or deceptions, behind it.
I should be off.
Lady keep you.
Yeah, well, any quote-unquote gods worth their salt would respect what that kid went through, I think.
May I help you?
I should be off.
Lady keep you.
Yeah, anyway, in Dragon Age 2, I had a combo, and I want to say the name of that skill was also Livid. I think it's the same symbol. Anyway, it's essentially giving away a portion of your health. In Dragon Age 2, is giving away a portion of your health to procure extra damage bonus to the passive you already had as a Reaver, which is basically the more hurt you were, the more damage you did. And so it was a way to kind of accelerate that a little bit. Anyway, so we'll take a look at that. But next we'll finish up some more of this questing stuff here. I want to do this challenge, this trial here in the village. So we'll take a look at that when we come back. All right, if you want to subscribe, click that button up top. If you want to catch Dragon Age Inquisition playthrough, you can click that image there in the middle. Y'all take care. Catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.